Hey guys, it's me again, Orchler. What else? Where I last left off, Deku just beat Skolos down into unconsciousness. They've killed Crota. Now I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not sure how long it takes for Oryx to arrive on Earth. So I know his spaceships were deep in space, so I will give them at the very least a year or two. Because I know the hive can teleport and such, but still, that's just kind of dumb. So, in this case, I'll have a year, like maybe a year and a half, of all quiet and peacefulness. So what will happen now is, after Deku has got more fame for shutting down a rebellion and helping assist by taking on an army, he will be given renown across the system. He's gonna be filled with contracts from every single house, maybe even one from the devils. Even some of the people in the city, who, I'll say there were other guardians who are checking out the moon, just saw this massive battle with the hive, say yeah. So people are going to be clamoring for just like to get some of his people to complete a job. So what will happen now is, let's see, Oryx is next, and after that it's this whole thing with Siva and the Iron Lords. I'm going to start off with Deku taking a break from putting down a rebellion and an entire hive army within 4 months of each other, and each took a long time and a lot out of his people. So yeah, he's just taking a break. So to take a break, Cade has invited him to one of his poker games. Now I'll let you all know, I have no idea how poker works. Never took an interest in it, so as he gets there and just has this overly sized seat, he's like, Cade, Zavala, Ikora, Shax, and Amanda Holiday. They all sit down and start dealing. Pretty sure that's how it works. After a long time, the speaker actually comes looking for Zavala to talk about an important problem. And then he knows that they go play poker. So as he opens the door, like, hey, Zavala, I need to talk with you for a moment. As he looks up, he's like, and just sees like this giant fallen sitting like on like crisscross applesauce. And he's just like, he actually has all the chips or whatever, though, all the glimmer at the moment. Is like, well, this is weird. And so we actually, after like composing himself, because I'm pretty sure he, even with how calm he is and how omnipotent or whatever he seems to be, he speaks to them and says, so, is this the Baron of Panthers? They're like, yeah. He's like, well, Speaker. Zaval's like, Speaker, how may I help you? He's like, we can talk later. I'm talking to him right now. So as Deku's like, as he's just like, we can talk later, Deku's like, should I leave? Cause, well, I'm pretty much empty all of you out of all your money, so haha. And the speaker wishes to talk to Deku for a bit, so he gets called out. He's like, no one look at my cards. As he walks out, Cade's like, totally looking at his cards. He picks them up and just starts reading them. He's like, he's been bluffing the entire time. As like, he just like did this and all the cards were like folded, like I fold and I fold. Which, as I'm pretty sure is something how it goes. And they look at his card, he's like, son of a... As he screams, Deku's just like, he's like, what? I was bluffing. As they all like, Kate, Zavala and Ikora is like, what's wrong, Kate? He was bluffy. He flips cards around. It's the worst pairs of like hand of cards you could ever have, and they're like, "Oh, come on, and they're like, I had like 2 queens or whatever, how that works." But as he continued forward, the speaker sort of speaks to him about the whole, stop trying to yawn, the whole, why is he helping people, essentially. And Deku gives his ideology of it is that how humanity's in the same position that the fallen were in. When the darkness came and tore down their civilization, we are exactly like you, except we were able to get away, not unscathed. We barely got away. If it was only because of Chelsix and his army that as many as we did survive. There used to be a lot more of us, but now very few left. Many traditions lost. Several houses destroyed. It is truly sad, but it is how life worked. We are lucky to even be standing here today, but for everyone else, I'm not sure. Would it be better that we crumbled into ash than to live a lot, than become to realize how far we've fallen? The kings are in hiding. Devils run amok. Winter is in shambles, and the House of Wolves aren't even ruled by a fallen anymore. It's like, granted, Monokel has done great, but he looks down and just says, I question, every now and then I question, why move forward? Why keep fighting on? And this gets the speaker to realize that the fallen, not all fallen, are kind of ruthless. And before the speaker asks something, now let me ask you a question. Why are you called the speaker? And the speaker gives them details that the speakers are people who have somewhat of a connection to the traveler. And that it presents them dreams, visions of what will come. It's like its way of speaking, and they have to interpret it. He's asking, what's the deal with the mask? Because I'm pretty sure that the speaker himself could not have these dreams, but he crafted the mask so he could. Because before, he had never had a dream, and his mentor died before. Well, his mentor was like one of the last speaker to like be able to dream. The speaker that we know of never could dream until he made the mask. And that's why he has a ghost following him. Is that the ghosts are apparently naturally attracted to them because they have some essence of the light within them. So in a way, Deku says, if the fallen knew this, they'd worship you as prophet. As he says that, he's like, guess you're right. So instead of calling him speaker, he actually just calls him the prophet. And he asks, well, prophet, have you had any dreams lately? No. Not as far as I know. Not as far as I know. It's all been quiet. The traveler has long stayed quiet for a while. We only had one dream, as far as I know. But he's like, well, thank you for this talk, Deku. He's like, no, thank you for listening, speaker. And now I must excuse myself. Have to take all their glimmer. As he gives a laugh and walks back in, and Kate says, you bluffed us hard. He's like, indeed, as giving a chuckle, and the speaker also laughing, and then walks back to his weird little thing. And that goes on. Deku just like, after a while, he's like, time I left. I take Glimmer. As he just, like, takes and just puts it all into a bag, and then just sneaks out, taking his personal ship. Along the way, running into Suyu and Nana Shimura, saying, oh, hey, hello, and just goes invisible, climbing up the walls. They rush into the room, like, what? And they just see all them standing around, sitting around a table. You invited him to the poker night, didn't you? They're like, yeah, we did. He's pretty chill. And Amanda Holiday's like, he took all our money. He literally drained us dry. And Kate's like, oh, dang it. Dang it, he took all the money. Or all the Glimmer. So as he's speaking, Deku gets in his ship and blasts off. Along the while he's traveling, he's been radio silent, and then a transmission from Kaminari comes in, and he's like, Deku, you are in, if I may speak, you are in the vicinity. I said Kaminari, right? Yeah, Kaminari says you're in the vicinity of some of my scouts. They are scouting Devil's positioning. They wish to have assistance. Deku's like, very well. As he goes down and lands, he sort of sneaks up. He's pretty quiet for a giant fallen. So as he sneaks up, he's like, and just gives them two names, Davix and Shalak, or something. I don't know. Shalak and Davix. How goes scouting? As he lays down, they're like, oh, Baron, or Deku, we did not mean to. He's like, I was in area. Sometime I like to fly. Oh, dang it. I like to fly to get mind clear things. So, what seems to be the problem? So as they speak and tell him, well, we've been scouting out this position. Some of the devil, another rival in the Devils, want this guy killed. It's a relatively small amount of fallen, just one captain, couple vandals, and several dregs. Nothing much. We could get this thing done if we take out the captain first, pick off the vandals, and eliminate 2 dregs. He's like, well, let's do it then. As they all go invisible and do their whole sneaking up thing, Deku slowly climbs down and just takes out a giant knife and goes, eliminating the captain really quickly along with the 2 vandals. The dregs are then swept away by the 2 vandals, who just unload on them with their shock rifles. Before anything happens, the entire crew's dead. He's like, well, this was very successful. What were you here for in particular? Any named captain? Or was this, I believe the word is anonymous? And they're like, it's anonymous. We don't know. It was anonymous, I believe is how the word said. But as they continue forward, they're like, thank you, sir, for your help. He's like, no problem. It's nice to do, and pardon me, grunt work from time to time. Being the leader can get stressful. They're like, we understand. Goodbye, Baron. Goodbye, you two as well. Davix, Shalak. Davix and Shalak. Yeah, that's actually very good names. Huh. Wonder if well, anyways, he gets back in his ship and then drives away. Then gets a call from Kira after getting close to the skiff, which is a long ways away. Which I'll say is in America or someplace. Before he gets there, he's like, hey, Kirishima's like, Deku, some of my forces are trying to, some of the those captains that you led in from the House of Exile, yeah, they went to fight some hive, try and claim some technology. They say it would probably help if they had some assistance. He's like, very well, on my way. And he's like, it's relatively small. So I was just thinking about sending some of some of the Dobby's demolitions or something. He's like, I will deal with it. As he comes landing down, and it's the Baroness from before. He's like, Baroness. How goes? What are the enemy's positions? After coming in low, very stealth-like, and cloaking his ship, he lands. Moving up on the encampment very quietly again, and just like uncloaks. Like as he's like standing in front of them, as he like uncloaks. Like, oh, a Baron. How goes strategy? Well, as he like speaks, saying, the hive are dug in, but they are out in the open. Very quick hit and run. Easily eliminated. He's like, I see. How big are numbers? They got like 20 thrall, 10 acolytes, and maybe 7 knights. I don't know the correct thing. And 1 wizard. He's like, I see. How many snipers do you have? We got 6. Focus them on the wizard and the knights. Have 3 aim for the wizard, the rest aim for a knight. We shall deal with the ground forces. Yawning. So as they like get in positions, Deku's like, this is your operation, Captain. Do what you must. Do what you must. So, as they like plan out, she's like, where should I stay? I will, if you wish, I will lead forces into combat and continue fighting. I think it's a smart decision, but again, this is your command. Will not undermine it. I am just assisting. So, as she says, it would be great if she could lead this group into this part right here, sort of gaining their attention. As Deku's like, understood. So as her captains and such get set up, he gives the like whole talk to the Vandals that we are to draw them in, and then they'll assist us by destroying the ones coming at us. This happens when the wizard and one of the knights go down. And so it's like, go! Several wire rifles go off, and the wizard goes down, and one of the knights go down. Deku throws several grenades to grab their attention, taking out like a dozen or so Thrall. The Thrall rushing in, and his group has taken up positions to draw them in. So as they rush, as the horde, like little group marches, but rushes forward, Deku, not leading, but somewhat, I guess, yeah, leading, giving them like targets to aim for, and to try to keep, not spread out, but to just focus on headshots and such. So as they're like taking down several hive, the Baroness gives the order to rush in, and hitting them from the back. Several other knights are taken down, along with the acolytes and Thrall being cut down pretty easily. All in all, they did not lose anybody in this horde of Thrall, in this little, I don't know what's the correct term, swarm? Battalion, group of hive have been dealt with. So as they get done with their whole their whole scrap, their little scrap, not Deku, but she thanks them for their assistance, and that she's gonna have her men like look at the equipment, see if anything can be made of use. They go around. There's a few things actually, like some of the gear can be scavenged and such. They were sitting on like apparently like some fallen equipment, or actually some not Guardian, but FOTC equipment that had been left there after they got like driven out. So as they get in there and they break out some of their weapons, they got some assault rifles, a few grenades, and like a rocket launcher, as well as a LMG. They take these and it was pretty good. A box of grenades and nothing much, but still, we didn't lose anybody, so this is pretty nice. So as Deku's like, well, have nice, happy hunting, as he evacuates, and before he goes, she's like, hang on, I will like to thank you again for letting us join your crew. It was very helpful. And as Deku's like, no problem. And then as they like not evacuate, but he returns to his personalized catch. The second one is still being worked on to be completely upgraded. Kaminari, that's where Kaminari is right now. He's overseeing it, but he's also having his scouts and such do their thing. Because like I said, Kaminari falls under Toga's jurisdiction, because she also organizes assassinations, and he reports in scouting. And he also has his forces, their forces are kind of one and the same. Some are more like killers, while others are more scouters. There's the ones in between. And those ones report to Kaminari, who then reports Toga after she assigns them. So, yeah. As that continues forward, Deku, before he gets there, contacts Kaminari saying, how goes the upgrades and repair? He's like, well, to be completely honest, everything's going completely fine. Shields, thrusters, weapons have all been upgraded. We're just splitting up the crew right now. You had over 800? And that's including the ones that's subtracting 100 to fly the 50 skiffs? And then there's the smaller ships and such that you have us piloting. To be honest, at most, we're probably gonna need to go on another recruiting drive just to man this catch, to put some use into it. So, Deku understands this, and sorta has Kirishima put the word out a little bit that they're looking for more dregs to join his ranks. Several from the house of not bulls, but from the jaguars to the lions, even some of the ones from the house of wolves, and some of the ones he's become associated with, or who have associations with the ones that joined the House of Exile that joined Deku's crew, are all sorta not clamoring, but sorta quite a few of them are actually stepping up. And Deku will actually be trying to decide on something who to give command of this catch to. He's thinking it over and says, well, there's only one other way. And Deku will be promoting whoever does, not to Baron, but catch commander or catch captain. So they'll be given extra ether and such to show their station, and so they'll be also grabbing 2 others to promote to captain and such. You see what I mean? So as Deku says this, he speaks, and so Toga and Kirishima are the only ones really who are open for that option. The Baroness doesn't really want it, and neither do any of the other captains, because it hasn't been that long since that whole, it's been 5 months tops, I believe is what I said. So they still don't want to like volunteer because it hasn't been that long. Hold up a second. Oh wow, orcs will be arriving in 7 months. So as they like sort of discuss amongst themselves, Kirishima and Toga like sort of discuss this between them. Toga doesn't want to leave Deku's side. Kirishima doesn't want to either, but he understands that to be more effective at leading troops and such, and like helping Deku more, he understands that it would probably be best to like have Kirishima be commander of the catch, considering he's commanding forces and military might. Not military, but you know what I mean. So he understands that, and he says, yeah, he'd be fine, but he'll take some of the crew from Deku. He'll need some of the crew from Deku's ship, because they're more or less veterans on how to run a catch and how his tactics and such are. So for the new crew, for the reinforcements, I guess, as he would say, to arrive, that way they can be trained up more efficiently. And Deku agrees with this. So it's done. Kirishima takes, after having recommendations from both Dabi, Kaminari, Toga, and Mina, having their like sort of things, as well as having some of the House of Exile to come work to stay on his ship, so he can give them more effective training on how to fight the Hive. Because Kaminari knows how to, Kirishima, not Kaminari, knows how to fight the Hive, but he isn't an expert at it like Deku and the Exiles are. So that's what he does. So as all the new troops are being trained up, Deku is called back to the House of Lions and asked to not fulfill a thing, but that the Prime Servitor is apparently calling for him, and for him to come alone. The Archon says this, and Deku's like, understood. After all the preparations have been seen over, Deku arrives. And I'll also say they actually split the tanks up. Deku gets the Fallen Walker, while Kirishima, gets the Fallen, not the Fallen tank, but the normal tank. That's been heavily modified for Fallen use. And that's also being, like, led by one of, like, the ones twice recommended. So, as they all, and Kirishima will be taking Twice and Toga, because those are the ones he's like sort of worked best with. Dabi just sends his demolitions, and dang it, why do I keep yawning? And Toga sends her Kaminari, and them send their scouts, and blah blah blah. Deku reports to the Prime Servitor. This is like a very hush-hush thing, because Prime Servitor doesn't typically call upon anyone. So as he walks in, it's like a full thing, like reverence and such. Archon was sort of praying to the Prime Servitor, and as the Prime Servitor speaks, and since the Archon's the only one who really speaks for it, he sort of translate that the Prime Servitor has a thing for him to do, and that this is sort of like a holy mission. He's like, what is it, Prime Servitor? And as it said, it's that he is to go and kill a Guardian of Light. A Guardian. He's like, may I ask why? And the Archon sorta would have gotten offended if it was anyone else but Deku. And the Prime Servitor, as he translates this to a Prime Servitor, the Prime Servitor says, if he is to truly be the reborn of Chelsix, it is his duty to kill the ghouls in order to bring the traveler back to them. As Deku sort of goes, and like I said, this is still a hush. If I didn't say so, it's still a hush-hush thing about him working with the city and the Guardians. The Awoken's fully known, but as this is given order to him, he says, forgive me, but I cannot. And as the Prime Servitor is kind of riled up by this, You know this ain't a good thing, is riled up by this. And the Archon's also getting riled up, asking him why not. He's the best one to kill the Guardians. He's asking why should he though? They are the Guardians of the Traveler. To kill the Traveler's Guardians, or Praetorians in a way, is somewhat in his mind what he's like, if killing the Traveler's protectors, some sort of heresy? Some sort of blasphemy? A taboo? He sort of comes to question these things. Because in the long years, he's worked with the Awoken and Guardians, as well as fighting the FOTC. He's coming to question these things. And he sort of, doesn't know why, but he sort of confesses these to the Archon and the Prime Servitor. These are behind closed doors, so he understands that if the Archon will attempt to kill him, or even the Prime Servitor, he's like, gives the whole, they were just like us. As they, question, the Traveler brought them glorious in technology to advance them so high. But then the darkness came, or their whirlwind came and tore it all away. The Traveler was wounded defending them, or something got to it before it could run. As he's speaking, he's sort of getting them around to the idea of the Guardians the humanity is a victim just as they are. He says that if the houses thought with clarity instead of anger and violence, and not being pirates for several hundred years, I'm pretty sure, it speaks to them like that, giving his idea of the whole situation, and actually does convince them, even the Prime Servitor. He has convinced them that humanity is a victim of the darkness, that they shouldn't be killing each other, they should be fighting against their common enemy. As the Prime Servitor speaks to him, tells the Archon saying this, then he tasked him with a different, holy, quote-unquote, goal. To form a defense, to be not just the Praetorian, to not just become, as he would say, a Praetorian of the Traveler, but to become a Praetorian for those who fight against the darkness. So, in a way, he's become the fallen version of a Guardian, except for he doesn't have the light. He just has his own 4 hands and sheer will to carry him through this duty. Is how I'm kind of viewing it, is that his house, quote unquote, the Panthers, will be the first to officially, except later on there will be Mithrax with the House of Light, will be the ones to come to fight alongside the humanity. But this will still be on the down low, because nobody's desperate enough to have to side by side. So these will still be covert operations. The only ones who know are essentially the ones who work with Deku. Deku's been giving this holy mission, and the Archon understands, and this is a secret that will not go beyond these doors. The only ones who will know are Deku's inner circle about this goal that's been set before him by the Prime Servitor itself, said to him. The Archon is also told to keep this to himself, as the Prime Servitor continues on, making more servitors. Deku understands and says, "Thank you, Prime Servitor. I will not fail in this task." He's like, if you do, it could mean the end of everything. So as he steels himself for his new resolve and goes forth, the Prime Servitor has named him the First Praetorian, because instead of being called a Guardian, he is the Praetorian. he is a Praetorian. I like the sound of that more than the Guardian. Tell you the truth, because people are talking about fallen Guardians. I like the sound of a Praetorian much more. Because they just sound so much cooler. Guardians. Praetorians. Yeah, that's much better. But, as I digress. The servitor will refer to him as the Praetorian. Or the first Praetorian. So as he continues forward, as I said, with new resolve and new missions from from his god, from the god, or a god, he is sent off and tells his inner circle about this. He assembles them and says the servitor has given him a holy mission and explains what entirely happens. They are shocked that he's even still alive. But to hear that the Prime Servitor has assigned him a holy mission to defend humanity, to defend all those who would oppose the darkness. Some of you thinking that, oh, he'll become this leader of all the houses. With his goal at the moment, he won't be able to do that. Maybe later down the line, when the Fallen truly are on the side, he'll be like one of the greatest commanders, or something along those lines. But right now, it will be his little group alone that will be taking the fight to the enemy's darkness. So he sort of stops with the whole killing Fallen against Fallen unless they really need to. He'll be primarily taking contracts to eliminate the Hive and sometimes the Vex and the Cabal. And some people take notice of this, that he's primarily focusing on Hive, Cabal, and Fallen. So he's received another order. Well, another contract that some people in the city need this place cleared out so that way they can do some studies on the Cabal. Like, get some information from the Cabal. So Deku sort of leads not an assault, but has Toga send several infiltrators, and they extract data successfully, giving it back to the city, as well as stealing some supplies. Like things like missile launchers, more ammo for the Colossus machine guns, as well as a missile pack. So as they take that, Kirishima is also taking the fight to the Vex. Because I'll say he's actually become very good at taking down the Vex. So the people on Venus, that little settlement, is being like regularly supported by Kirishima and taking down Vex offensives, or even them like taking down Vex. Like, I don't know if you can stop a Vex or shut down a Vex thing, but they will help assist with those kind of operations. Deku is dedicating his group fully to this task. And so, that's the end of that. This will be 5 months of them going just completely battering. They've actually rooted out several hive infestations on Earth. They've ripped out several of them. Deku, well, the Exiles leading many of these. This is essentially like a holy crusade for them. They are leading this very well. Deku, Kirishima and his forces taking the fight to the Vex. Deku's force, and Deku assisting in the major assaults. And the Exiles dealing with the Hive and all that. So, Cade actually sort of has noticed this change. So has Eris Morn, which Eris Morn has been giving them more things to where to find Hive and how to completely remove an infestation. She says it's almost impossible, but what you need to do is kill the Hive commanding them and then destroy everything that looks like Hive. So he sort of gets in contact with Cade with getting flamethrowers to burn away the infestation. And that's what he gets. Flamethrowers. and starts. He equips, as he would call them, the hive exterminate, hive extermination, the hive extermination true, like battalion. Then there's the Vex annihilation group, and then the sort of, just, you know what I mean, like sort of names like that. He gives these to the exiles to fight against the hive, not fallen. And then he gives, I don't know, weapons that would be pretty good against the hive, not hive, but the Vex. So Kirishima's taken down several, like, he's taken down Vex gates. Like, these assaults are powerful, and they're completely destroying them, utterly destroying them. Marasov has also taken note of this, and actually, after Cade has, like, talked to him, and he gives the whole speech, or the whole spiel on what the Prime Servitor has done, he's been tasked with, like I said, a holy crusade, to go on a holy crusade and eliminate and try to destroy as much as possible of these foul creatures of darkness and banish them, or as he would use the words, to eliminate them, as he says this. And Cade is like, so what, you're a guardian? No, Praetorian. Guardians have the light, I do not. But we will not waver in this. Deku takes religion very seriously. So, yes, he's very devout. Unless it's to go against his personal beliefs. This is one and the same, so, yay. And then when Marasov calls him forward, because Varix and Aldrin and them were sort of confused about this as well, as he comes into the throne room and they sort of question. He says, I cannot stay here. Only words between me and Kel. Me, Prime Servitor and Archon, will know, unless you intend to help. We must be alone, as he speaks to them all in this, that this is a secret of the highest order. One you would never tell anyone. I am breaking what I promised, but it would make sense to explain. So again, he gives the whole spiel how he's been tasked by the Prime Servitor to be a Praetorian and fight back against all these things of the darkness. Marasov hears this and says that Aldrin Sov also laughs like, so, you're to be the first fallen guardians, Praetorians. We will lash out and burn away. And then, like, you mean just fight away? No, we literally have to burn the hive out. Kirishima has destroyed several Vex gates, and the exiles have destroyed several hive infestations. We shall see them annihilated. And within these 5 months, like I've said, they've done a marvelous job. Deku and them have essentially... The hive infestation of Earth, like, between it, wasn't that much, like, was quite a bit to begin with, but after Deku's, like, hive and, like, essentially wiping out every single nest, even in the Cosmodrome, like, the only ones that are still standing are the ones that are actively making more thrall and are the most heavily defended ones out there. The other one with the Vex are the ones that are so precious that several Gate Lords are known to protect the area. This is what I mean, is that Deku's crusade is sort of slowing down, because he doesn't want to risk the annihilation of these forces or taking heavy losses. He's fanatical. He's not fanatical. He's very devout and would march against the entire Hive army, but he won't do this if it meant, like, unacceptable casualties. So he has to decide between which to hit. And between these months of probing attacks and such, he decides that the best thing to do first would be to cleanse Earth. They can move on to Venus and they'll rest later. This is like a week before they can do it. So this will be one final assault against the remaining hive that have been able to persist in the Cosmodrome. But that would be get into too long, and I want to make this like an entire thing. So thank you guys for watching this. I hope you all have a nice day, nice night, nice life, and sorry for the cliffhanger. Goodbye.